Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission in the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the 343 Guilty Spark mission from Halo Combat Evolved on the next episode. This episode, we're debriefing Assault on the Control Room from Halo Combat Evolved. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Tank beats everything.
You're supposed to say it tough.
Tank beats everything. I don't think I'm capable of tough.
I think you are. Last mission, Chief and the Marines stormed a beach in search of the mysterious map room that will help the humans locate the Halo's control room. On the way, we learn how to grenade jump, and have some fun with the Spanker rocket launcher. This mission is probably the most aptly named mission in the entire game, because we literally commence an all-out assault towards the control room. Our journey involves drivable ghosts, banshees, warthogs, and a badass scorpion tank. Along the way, we get lost in some Forerunner chambers, cross a few bridges, get multiple Marine reinforcements, and smack a bunch of sleeping grunts. Wake up, you're dead. Date of the game is September 20th, 2552, same day as the previous mission. We are busy, as always. I don't know where to start with this one, guys. This is a long mission. It's huge. Who wants to start?
Really is. This mission is
gigantic.
crazy long.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. You're just like, oh, I'm almost there. Nope. Gotta go
Nope.
through another chasm.
Well, and playing it again, I was like, I forgot if they made you go back. Because I finally got to the end, and then I was like, do we? No? Okay, never mind. That's semi-spoiler, but I know that my memory was not recalling every step of the way on this mission, so it was good to re-explore, I guess. David, you said this might be one of your favorite missions of all time?
Yeah, between this one, Silent Cartographer, and I think Two Betrayals, I love them. Myself and my friends used to just play those three missions back to back all the time. Like years after Halo CE come out, and like everyone moved on from Halo, and I hadn't. And then I get my friends over, we boot up CE, and we just played these missions, and we skipped, Livery and Guilty Spark, and we went straight to Betrayals. We just played this one, and that one, and that was just our thing. That's what we did.
Because of the vehicles, or what was it for you?
It is. It's just kind of the layout of the map, the kind of like the weapons in it. Lack of flood until you get to the other one, but there's just so much fun, and it's just so much like so many little encounters that you can do different ways every time, and like even like the spawn points are kind of like randomized in certain rooms and stuff like that, and it just allows you just so many kind of moments like. Stealth moments in this mission are pretty cool. Like you can go into a room and clear it out entirely in stealth. It used to be fun. Myself and my friends to try and do that, so you can get through a whole room in stealth. That was kind of fun. Do you know what I mean? And then as you said, like the vehicles are kind of all over this mission. They're awesome. You got the Warthog, Ghosts, Scorpion Tank, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But there's just so much to it. I just love this mission.
This mission, it's like there are big rooms, and then there are small kind of tunnels, and then there's big rooms, and there's small tunnels, so it's kind of a, I don't know what you would call that, but kind of like a, I don't know.
Still a corridor shooter, for lack of any other better term.
Yeah, but it's like, it really shows you how big, like, because you go to this underground cavern to start, and then, there's that cutscene with the goofy grunt, and that cavern is huge, and that's where I was wishing that I had sprint, because we don't get sprint for a while. But it's just this giant. So if you really want to explore, by the way, the par time on this mission in Halo Master Chief Collection, and I think that's more just for achievement. The par time, right?
Yeah.
Is 15 minutes. So this game, this is giant.
You can run past everything in this mission.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You gotta skip all
and
the
there are
enemies.
literally ways you can jump, like when you're on those bridges and you're going down to the snowy area, there are ways you can just cheese it and jump off the bridge a certain way and land safely in the snow, and then you can just keep going from there.
Gotcha.
So you can skip a bunch of the Forerunner tunnel stuff if you really, really want to. And just an aside, all the Forerunner tunnels and rooms, they start to look very similar after a while.
do.
It's like, oh god.
Especially if you're playing those 2 missions back to back. Do you know what I mean? 2 betrayals and something in the control room. And you're like, where am I? What am I doing?
Yep. Yeah, towards the end of this mission, you're like, I've been here before. Which way do I go?
This mission is like the last like non-stressful mission in Halo CE. It's like, the first 5 missions are like, oh man, I'm having a great time. I'm fighting Covenant. This is so much fun. And then from here on out, it's oh shit, oh shit, oh shit,
Right.
oh shit, oh
Yeah,
shit.
it turns into more like a
gets really
horror
crazy.
game, right, from here. But yeah, it was interesting because you're underground. So is this area, you go down, and then is this like a whole underground wintry landscape? Is that kind of what you guys got from it? I mean, I was trying to figure out like where this is in the Halo, because you go, we wanted to go an aerial assault. What did she say? Aerial assault
From underground.
Underground. So we're below the surface, like all the green stuff up top. Is that kind of what? I mean,
No, I think we've gone underground. We traveled along the Halo, and now we're in a completely different area.
Oh, and then we kind of pop up, right? Because that's how the
because
Pelican comes up.
if you ride one of the Banshees in this mission, there is just a normal sky above you.
That's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
you're going underground and then back up. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Got it.
So you're traveling just along the Halo and coming back up, which is why the weather's so drastically different. Because as we know, commonly on Installation 04, it's always snowy by the control room. That's just how they did their weather, and Cortana even comments on it in this mission.
Well,
like, what's up with this snow?
Yeah, she said something about the
inclement
inclement weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a weird one because it's so long, and I'm probably going to lose my place in a couple spots. But and it almost doesn't make sense at this point, like calling out like each of the individual. There's like 5 grunts here and 1 elite here, but we essentially kind of get out of this giant opening area, and then we start to advance into these rooms that start to look very similar towards the end of the mission, and then where do we go? See, I already lost my spot. Like we're kind of doing some room to room, and then we're going underneath before we finally get to the big open area, right?
Yeah, that's where you can get your Ghost, your Warthog, your sniper rifle, and your rocket launcher for the rest that you can carry throughout the whole mission. Especially the rocket launcher, there's ammunition through the whole mission if you're really, really wanting to hold on to it.
Yeah, that is one of the nice things. You can.
This is the first time we see like a Wraith tank too, right?
Yep, this is the first working Wraith. We've seen the Wraith. I think it was in Truth and Reconciliation. We saw them just parked, and they were kind of small compared to what I'm used to. Did you guys get that feeling too?
Yeah, like maybe it's because they're not as tall, it seems, as the other ones in the other games. There is something very different about them, and it's just because it's older graphics, and you can't go in it. It doesn't have a turret on it. Just simple stuff like that.
They probably had to make it bigger to account for like you getting in and out of it. So it probably changed the like structure of how they designed them.
Yeah,
I imagine the assets probably just different.
One thing I did miss is we do cross a bridge first. We cross a bridge. The bridges are kind of fun. At least these bridges are, because you can go underneath them too. And this is where we first start to encounter the sleeping grunts, because they're all just, I don't know, they're grunts and they're kind of goofy. So you can go up to them and just kind of elbow them to death. It just takes 1 elbow and they die. And that's always kind of fun to see how many you can do. To David's point, try to kill as many as possible. And I'm sure the game logic is they have like a cone of vision or something like that. But I did find in a couple spots where if you saw some jackals or some elites walking around, you could see them and then hide behind cover quickly before they would actually be alerted to your presence. Krista, do you try to go stealth in this at all, or do you just kind of go Rambo like me?
It depends. It depends what I'm trying to do. Depends how fast I'm trying to get through the mission. Because sometimes it's fun to just whack the grunts and then see how far you can get into the room before getting discovered by an elite or a jackal. Kind of like what David was saying earlier. It's fun to see how far you can take the stealth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the stealth mechanic isn't... This isn't a stealth game. It was just kind of something fun
you can't
that I think
crouch.
Bungie put in.
You can't crouch
you can
and walk.
crouch,
you
but
can crouch, but can't crouch and walk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always stand up, and then if you have it on toggle, you'll just crouch again when you stop moving. But I mean,
this game
it's just
here,
kind of a fun little mechanic.
Yeah. You're like this big. You're supposedly this big clunky Spartan, but you are able to kind of sneak around a little bit. I don't know if you guys were doing this. We've talked about it a little bit, but switching back and forth between the graphics. I'd started doing that quite a bit here, and this is where it really hit me that 343, since they've kind of taken the mantle from Bungie, or the development responsibilities from Bungie, feels like they're really setting the stage for their Forerunner trilogy. They're really, if you go back to the old graphics, these structures are just kind of blah. They're purpley and they're kind of alien, but if you then switch to the new graphics, they've really gotten to it. They've added a lot of detail. It looks great. So if you are playing in the old graphics for, 5 minutes and then flip back to the other ones, it's crazy how good it looks. And also they play around with the light. Some rooms are brighter than others in the old graphics, and then some are darker in the new graphics than they are in the old ones. So I don't know. David, do you flip back and forth at all?
Very rarely now these days. Sometimes I do, just to see what a thing is. Like a console or something like that, or an asset. Like I did it a bit with Krista. Myself and Krista actually streamed this mission recently. I had a bit of fun doing that. So I had fun just seeing what the tank looked like and before and after. So in the new graphics, it actually has the kind of little circular, I don't know what to call it, it's cut out where like the turret would go in different variants of the tank. So I found that interesting that they put that in there.
So you can't be in the turret, right?
No,
there is no
it
turret.
exist.
You just have the turret.
Okay.
Yeah, the driver has access to the turret, which is awful. And then like,
okay. Was it just a different button? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't read the
It's like one of the
Left trigger.
bumpers now or something, right?
left trigger is grenade, right trigger is shoot.
Oh, okay. It's a
Whatever.
trigger.
Yeah, it's one of the triggers.
That's why you read instructions on the screen.
Yeah. Which pops up in normal mode, which was funny.
Well, the turret's awful though. It's
turret,
like
yeah,
you can't aim. It doesn't aim for shit.
Oh, does it just go forward? Is that it?
Yeah.
No, it's on the turret. So
okay,
like
it does spin.
It does spin, but it's just the accuracy is atrocious. It probably has the worst accuracy of any weapon in the Halo game because it's just so bad. But then the reload speed of the main tank is so slow that, like, you got to use it at some stage just to harry enemies a little bit.
Yeah, I wish I would have realized that because, I was trying to just blow up people with the cannon. I would just sit there. Luckily, I was playing a normal. I would just take a ton of damage just sitting there while waiting for my tank to reload. Before we talk about the tank, let's go back kind of. So we get down to that basin area, and you see this Wraith attacking your first group of Marines that you encounter. And there's a Warthog there, so you can definitely hop in that Warthog. There's some Ghosts there, which you can hop in. Which one do you go for typically? David, do you typically go for Ghost or Warthog?
I'm kind of a Warthog guy, but I guess
really?
the Ghosts make more sense, especially from a solo perspective. But sometimes I will get in a Warthog and drive it and see if I can get some AI guys in it, and we have some fun.
I'm guessing Krista's a Ghost person.
I am a Ghost person.
Yes.
I think it makes more sense to have two people in a Ghost than one person driving and one person gunning.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Warthog. It's great. It's a little inefficient, though, when you have, I could have 2 fire powers, or I could have 1 fire power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With maybe a little more maneuverability, but
then
the Ghosts work really nicely.
The Ghosts are really nice. They don't have the speed burst, though. I missed that.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
But
they do.
That's next game.
Yeah, I think they do add that in the next game. They do have that little light, kind of. I don't know if it was in the old graphics or not, but there's kind of like that, Halo light underneath of it, which is kind of cool. Did you guys grab the sniper or the rocket launcher or both?
I grabbed the sniper. David grabbed the rocket launcher.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he was playing co-op. That makes sense.
I'm more of a sniper. Even when I play solo, I go for sniper rather than rocket launcher.
Mm-hmm. And I forgot as I was playing through. I was playing late last night, and I should have grabbed the sniper because it has a ton of ammo. I mean, I just relied. I did rocket launcher and pistol combo just like the last mission. That seemed to work out. So then we got the Wraith shooting at us a long ways away, and there's a ton of Covenant in this area. So to your point, Krista, you can either just on Legendary, you probably have to clear out more than you do on obviously the easier levels. So you could just cruise past them, or you could sit there and fight, and that would take a long, long time to kill them all.
Well, the nice thing about the par times in Halo, if you are paying attention to that, you can play it on easy.
Right.
You can just set it to easy and run through it. Yeah,
that makes sense. So we get past that area. Are there some hunters down there too? I'm forgetting.
There are hunters by the second Wraith tank we encounter.
That's right.
Right before the tank.
Yep. So further down, a couple hunters down. There's a lot of hunters in this mission, actually.
There are like 4 or 5 pairs. It's crazy.
I think there is the most in any Halo game in this mission to date.
That would make sense. Yeah, that sounds about right. They're usually just like a couple pairs at max.
In a whole game.
Yeah.
Like, you won't encounter a lot of hunters in the other games.
A total of 16.
In this whole game?
Jesus.
In this mission.
Wow.
This
Oh my
one mission
God.
has 16. Yeah.
16 pairs or 16 individuals?
16 individuals, so
Yeah.
8 pairs.
Okay, so 8
That
pairs.
makes
That's
sense.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because, like, in Halo, if you think about Halo 5, we only encountered hunters, like, once?
There's a lower
Once or
level.
twice?
Yeah, there's a couple here and there. Not a ton of them,
But,
though.
like, in the later games, you barely see them. They're not as widely utilized as they are in Halo CE.
There's
It's
more
pretty
variety,
crazy.
too, in those games in terms of enemies.
Yeah,
Typically.
that's true.
So that's probably why they needed to rely on
And
a big
also, they
tank.
don't die in one hit, so they make better bosses.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
there's that. So yeah, then it's tank time, and I love tank time.
Tank time, best time.
The cannon is so good, but it does take forever to reload, and you can get four Marines on right away, which is kind of sweet. And mine always die right away because I'm.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I just go balls to the wall and just try to either run over or blow people up, and those actually
A lot of them are.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, a lot of them are friendly fire kills.
Yeah.
Like me shooting way too close to the tank and them just dying.
Yeah,
Yep.
like shooting a ghost and then that blowing up on
Yeah.
top of you. Yeah. And those ghosts
But
are actually, they're kind of difficult, you know, because they're so maneuverable. And depending on the difficulty you play, they can kind of scoot around you. So sometimes it takes a while, but it does feel
They can
so
pick you
good
up.
blowing those things up. It feels so good.
Oh, when you get a direct hit. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so
Boom.
satisfying.
So
Yeah.
good.
And it takes maybe 2, or at least on normal, it took me 2 or 3 shots to a wraith.
Yeah.
It's 2 shots, I think,
2 shots.
normally.
If you're
Yeah.
a good shot.
2
probably.
direct
Yeah.
shots.
That makes sense.
I think it might be one from behind if you get it on the unarmored area. I think because I think I did.
Is
it
that
when
a
we were
thing in this game?
I
or
thought
is
I
that-
did it when we were streaming, Krista, but it could have been that rate was damaged and I didn't realize it. But I think it just felt like I got it in one shot.
Okay. I might have been tossing grenades. I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe.
Then we face hunters kind of guarding that door along with that. Well, they're further down, so the Wraith is kind of guarding that door area. And a Banshee shows up too, I believe. Is it just one?
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of banshees.
Oh, there's a bunch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just show up. They're really fun to shoot out of the sky.
Oh, they're great fun. I always try and, as they manically dive at you, see if I can stick them. It's quite satisfying if you can get it.
And we established you can't steal the Banshees, right? In this game.
Nope.
There's only one banshee. Well, you can't hijack the banshees, but if someone's going towards a banshee and you happen to kill them, then you can take the banshee.
Oh,
Later in
okay.
this mission, where there is a
Yeah.
fun kind of thing. Where
Illusions.
myself and my friends always did it. Where like
Oh, yeah.
when you got to that bridge, we'd always run like there's 2 banshees there, and if you're fast enough and you've got a sniper, you can kind of take out the 2 elites, skip the rest of the enemies, and the 2 of you can get in banshees, which me and Krista did. So
Oh,
that was cool.
nice.
That was great fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves,
Are we?
but
Sorry.
that is great.
David, this is a walkthrough. God damn it.
All right, whatever.
Ah, David, you ruined it. 1 week
All
off,
right,
and
that'll
you
do it
just
for us. We're done. Restart.
God damn.
All right, so we start going in some tunnels now, and we start pushing buttons, opening doors, and then progressing through. And then we get to the room where did you guys remember the skull? I always
Yes.
remember the skull.
Yeah, I grabbed the skull.
Yep, so you get into this
Yeah.
large room with a bridge on one side and kind of like, I don't know what's on the other side. Actually, on the
It's a
other
big
side, there's
it's the same.
hunters.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big underground cavern, but it
Mhm.
has like a bridge spanning it, and it looks like one semi-destroyed bridge to the right. But it's a cool encounter as well.
There's
And,
there's a lot of people shooting at you. There's those turrets that are what do they call them again? They call them like
The shade
these are
turrets.
shade
man-
turrets.
Yeah, man turrets or whatever I think they referred to them as earlier. But you can actually pop them off the ledge, which is fun. And then I actually had one where it was I blew it up, and then it kind of was hanging on the side of the ledge, just barely hanging on. And then one of the grunts went and got into it and started shooting at me. And then I was able to take it down. On the right side is I think they're always dead, right? The hunters on the right side. Did you guys go over there at all?
Yeah, there's one hunter and a whole bunch of Marines with a lot of ammo around them.
Yeah.
I think there's supposed to be like a little story behind them, but I'm not 100% sure.
We'd have to read the book.
Oh yeah, I think that's right. I think that is in the book. Now that I think about it,
there's a lot of story behind just the random dead Marines you find throughout the game. In the book, we're referring to the book Halo: The Flood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is literally just a retelling of this game. So if you're lazy and don't want to play the game, you could always read it.
Are you lazy if you're reading or lazy if you're playing?
I don't know.
Good question. But if the hunter's kind of over there in that dead area, which, pick up the book and read about that awesome encounter. But if you switch to the old graphics, there's actually kind of orange blood on the floor, but not on the new graphics, which was kind of weird. Anyway. Then you go back over to the bridge, you got to jump down and get the skull first. And then it's malfunction skull. Do you guys know what that does? I forgot to look it up.
So malfunction is every time you die, one part of your HUD just doesn't work anymore. So it could be your radar, your health, your ammo. Just
Nobody
one of those
uses it.
things will not work.
It's a terrible skull.
It really sucks. Or like even the reticle. Sometimes the reticle doesn't work, so you don't have a reticle on the screen.
That would be rough.
It is pretty rough, yeah.
Yikes, that sounds bad for Lazo. So we go across the bridge then. Again, there's some more hunters down the other end. It's this whole room is crazy. It's giant. And you could sprint through it on the more difficult levels, but you kind of have to clear out most of the room. Otherwise, you're going to get in a world of hurt because there's this kind of like a big bottleneck, especially where you have to hit that button again. So then you travel through, you hit the button, and then where do we end up? I'm forgetting where we end up from there. We kind of climb that big hill, right?
Mm-hmm. So you've got to climb the big hill. You end up outside again. I think that's when you find Is that when you find the Wraith tank and the two hunters?
Yes.
And then you get the big slope, and then you can't go on with the tank anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But there's that structure there, that random structure, and you
there's like
go
a
in
column. You can't go inside it. Yeah, I think there's some stealth camo and stuff.
No,
like
you
that,
can go inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
you get stealth. There's like a stealth camouflage thing in there. I think you can pick up.
And I actually had in my playthrough, I had a red elite. He was kind of at the top. There's a ramp to a balcony area where I'm sure he's shooting at you if you're driving by. So there's a stealth elite there, and I was playing footsie with him or whatever. He fell off the ledge and then ran back around inside and ran up the ramp twice, actually. He fell off twice before then he finally came up, and then then I took him out. No more messing around at that point. But there's a ton of enemies kind of around. I think inside they kind of all start spilling out, and then just kind of around that structure, along with a couple wraiths in the distance.
I had a lot of enemies just jumping off the bridges to their death.
Oh, did you?
Like the elites would go to dive roll or whatever they do, and then they just go straight off the bridge. It's like,
I love doing that. Like when the gold elite comes out and he's got his sword, and you throw a plasma, and he just dives, and he does like this real dramatic dive and rolls off the edge of the bridge. It's so satisfying.
And then you just get to, and then if you get it in the right spot, you get to go past the body later in the game.
Oh yeah.
Be like, ha ha.
So then we keep taking our tank all the way down. Do you guys ever not take the tank, I guess? Is that what you do on the speed run, is you take a ghost?
Yeah, probably you would just take a ghost and go through.
I don't think I ever not take the tank.
Yeah. I mean, you have to take the tank.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's too much
Unless
fun.
I was speed running, and then obviously not.
So then, let's see, then we start going down, right? There's that ramp where you start going down, and then you pick up another group of Marines at that point. So this would be our third group of Marines I think we picked up? Yeah. Because you meet some right away, right when you get into the big area, then there's another one where you finally get the tank, and then this is another, so there's 3 groups of Marines. That's crazy. Lots of Marines there. So you pick them up, and then essentially you have to get out of the tank right away, which is kind of a bummer. But then there's like a weird forest thingy, but it's not a forest. Just kind of pass through. That means that you have to get out of the tank, and then it opens up to another big structure. And there's actually like a little cavern, right? That kind of down below, and I think there's some rooms down there. I didn't go in them this time. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about here? I think there's some banshees flying around.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, lots of banshees. Banshees everywhere.
banshees,
many
man-cans,
a
all that sort
banshee.
of stuff. And then we get to progress through some rooms that all look the same.
Lots of...
Yeah. These are the ones where you can start to stealth around here again, right?
Yeah, it's like room after room of just stealth. And then sometimes there'll be like a corridor with some grunts or something in it that you can't get by. But
And there's like a yellow doorway that you got to go through. And then eventually we get to the 2 bridges. And
yes, and then hunters on one side and you on the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's fun.
That is a fun one, actually, because you get the one bridge right away, and you think you got it figured out, but then the second bridge is when they're kind of firing across from you, and you got to, deal with that on the side. Meanwhile, I guess conserving enough, you got to be starting to make the headshots because you got to start conserving your ammo, and then
unless you have the bandana skull on.
Well, there's that. Is that what you guys had on when you played?
Oh yeah, we always have.
Okay.
But if you don't, this mission is pretty good for spacing out human weapons. In terms of giving ammo drops in various places, you always find a couple of dead Marines in a room somewhere that have like power weapons and stuff so it's good enough for that.
You definitely need to be looking out for them though, because in a lot of those rooms you'll just go straight through, but there'll be a weapons cache in them.
Yeah, usually dead Marines.
They're worth looking for.
The this is kind of where I started to see the red elites have the needler. And they fire that needler way faster than the grunts do.
Oh my god, they just hold down the freaking trigger. There's like 50 needles coming towards you. It's like, oh shit.
Yep, not as easy as the grunts with that thing.
No.
Nope. So then we do get across, and then is there a surprise on the cross of this one? I think sometimes they have a little surprise, like a stealth elite. I think there's a stealth elite on the other side of this one.
Yeah, sometimes there's a stealth elite, sometimes there's an elite with a energy sword. I can never remember which one, so I'm always careful when going through the next door on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then we get through, more rooms. Oh man, this mission is so long.
It's just room after room.
Yeah.
Do we want to just go straight to the part with the red elite and the banshee?
We're almost there. I do want to talk about. There's that one room in there that's got like a little clubhouse at the top. Do you guys remember
yeah,
that?
and you can. It's really cool if you throw a grenade up there. All of the windows will blow out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We haven't even talked about like all of the glass that you can break in this mission is so cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why it's like super satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I didn't really notice the music that much in this mission. I think it's there and it kind of cycles up or speeds up.
Most of it happens like on the bridge and stuff is where I heard it the most.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chaos in this mission as well, and a lot of where the fuck am I going?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we progress, and then finally, we get to that little outcrop. It's a bridge, right, where you can go across.
It's a more natural bridge, if you could call anything natural on the ring.
Right.
But it's all fake.
Right. But it looks like, it's a bridge with grass on it and snow, I guess. But then that's where those 2 banshees are. And I think on the harder difficulties, they jump in those things really quick, right? Like on Legendary.
They do. Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any problem.
Yeah, so
they
you
didn't
gotta really
go
snipe
for
them.
them in mine. When I was playing on normal, they were just they're trying to shoot me. They didn't care about the banshees, so that was pretty easy for me. But you guys you said you both got into a banshee, and then nice.
Yep. And then you just go straight down to the control room, and that's the end of the mission. You pass by a lot of stuff when you do that. It's really convenient.
If not, though, I think you go across, and then there's probably some more rooms. Then you got to take an elevator down, right?
Down,
to the base.
yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you kind of got to assault with the Wraith and all of the ghosts and stuff like that. And also, this is where the terminal is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the terminal. And I completely missed it because I jumped at a banshee and skipped over to the door. So
if you don't know where it is, like where the control room, it has like this big beam coming at an odd angle all the way down, and then there's like a little hole where the beam goes into. That's where it is. You just got to climb down into that hole.
It's actually more hidden than most of them, right? Usually they're fairly out in the open, but this one you kind of have to stumble into it.
There is like a weapons cache down there, though.
Right.
It's like right by like a sniper or something. I can't remember exactly what was down there, but
is it this mission or the other one? There's a cache down there.
I think it's this mission.
Okay.
I have a hard
it's one of those
time.
things I always forget.
Between 2 betrayals and this mission, it's really hard to distinguish the two for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's where I've been struggling well. But it is usually, I think in the rest of the earlier missions, you can usually, just be progressing through the mission naturally, and you can see the flashing, yellow terminal. But in this one, you kind of have to find it. You have to kind of go down and explore a little bit. And that's probably why I missed it. But we'll talk about that terminal in a little bit. It's very interesting, as always. But then we make the climb up to the control room doors, and then there's like a perch area at the very top right in front of the door. Do you guys ever go up there? There's not really anything up there. I feel like
Not really.
I go up there for my OCD exploring mindset, but there's usually not much up there.
When back in the day when I was co-oping this with my friends, one of us would perch up there, and the other one would go and activate the door and then retreat back.
Oh,
because when you open those double doors and all those enemies come at you, we used to try and defend from up there. But then obviously we kind of got better at the game, or we just jumped back in a banshee and just flew past everybody.
Oh, that's a good point. You can do that too. So, yeah, the door opens and there's how many enemies? There's like probably 20.
There's a lot, and more. A gold elite as well.
Yeah,
there's a couple elites. There's a bunch of grunts.
Yeah,
they're just waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you could time it right and throw a grenade in there and clear out most of them. But that's a fun surprise when you hit that button, because that's pretty empty up there. By the time you fight your way up there, there's
no actual enemies like right in front of the control room until you open it.
Mm-hmm. And then they spill out right into your lap. Yeah, and then you clear out that room, and then you're done. Then you're kind of in this big hallway, and you're like, am I done? Am I not done? And you are, indeed. Cue the cutscene. Who wants to take us through the cutscene?
And probably the most prettiest room in this game is the control room. They did such a good job at just remastering that. It looks so freaking cool.
Yeah, it looks good. And a lot of information here. Lots of information. David, do you want to take us through the cutscene a little bit?
The cutscene. So, it's pretty much where you get a lot of kind of stuff explained to you. And I think this is kind of a big moment in Halo that isn't really kind of tied back to a lot. You insert Cortana into the control room here. Mm-hmm. And
that action right there is referenced a lot in the extended media.
And
him putting Cortana into this Halo
is a big deal. And they reckon that this was a moment, like, she absorbed a lot of Forerunner knowledge by interacting directly with the Halo here. So it took her time to realize what Halo is.
And she makes a comment about that, right? She's like, I forget what she exactly says, but she's like, wow, holy cow, I have a ton of information here.
And apparently this moment and absorbing all that information that she wasn't kind of made to do is supposed to have kind of tipped her towards rampancy sooner than normal. They reckon that moment of was a huge kind of element of not corruption but just maybe overloading what that kind of AI is supposed to do. And they always say that these AI are just so hungry, like almost like addicts for knowledge, that giving them access to this is just like overwhelming, where they kind of gorge themselves. And as we all know, AIs think themselves to death essentially.
I don't know, have we talked about that? I don't know if we have talked about that rampancy thing.
I don't think we've gotten to the topic of rampancy.
Like when
no,
like
she was new in Reach,
right?
But new
Reach
now.
is like just a couple days ago, right? So
you are not wrong. So
Krista, quick,
can't remember.
Google how old she is.
Google Cortana and see. Maybe a few months. Maybe she is actually quite young.
Yeah. This is also where she says the word cudgel, which is like a big, I don't know, like a big stick, I guess. And that's where some of this, because she was originally written with a British accent, but so they had some of the kind of those
words and mannerisms.
She was born in 2549.
Oh, okay.
So she's a couple years old. We're at 2552.
Okay, she's about 3 years old, which is interesting.
And AIs only live to 7, and then they're decommissioned.
7/8.
So she immediately realizes that like Keyes is going to find what was his objective? I can't remember. There was
he wanted a weapons cache or something that he
was
thought
going to
the
look at a
Covenant
weapon
were going
cache.
for.
But it was in fact the next mission, which we won't spoil right now. But it's not that. Cortana realizes, and instead of explaining to John, she's like, "Quick, go, run." I have no idea how he gets,
because she was talking about all the knowledge she's getting. He's like, whoa, chill out. How do we use this thing against the Covenant? And then she's like, well, you don't get what this is. This is way bigger than what you think it is. So that's almost the most dialogue we get at a Master Chief too, I think.
Really? I mean, she so he's like, how do we use it? And she's like, the Halo isn't built to be used as a weapon against people. It's built for something greater. And then she that's when she accesses where's Keys and then sees that he's about to do something he's going to regret.
Mm-hmm. It's all Keys'
And then
fault.
she doesn't even explain. She's like, go get him, stop him, go now. You have to go now.
Yeah.
And
then Master Chief just like runs out of the room.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then he sprints off and scene. That's it. That's the whole mission.
God.
Yeah, a crazy, huge mission. This is actually, now that I think of it, one of the most important missions probably in all of Halo. This one in particular. It does.
Well, this is the one that kind of all they always reference back to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the later games, it's very much a circle that gets completed in the later games, but
Mm-hmm.
This is when humanity really gets the information about the Forerunners they really, really needed, because now Cortana has all of it.
Yeah. Well, and she had some in Reach, right? So she had some information kind of about the Halo. That was it. The main thing she got from
The book, yeah.
Well, from a castle base when we were in Reach. So she
the excavation site that she was underneath. Yeah, they were accessing, but I don't think she had direct access. Like she may have just needed, like, I think even like now, she didn't have access to all information at all time. She had to, search and absorb it, and there's a lot of time spent just thinking about what she has in order to kind of unlock it and understand it.
The other interesting thing is does Chief leave her there?
Yeah. Yes,
That's
he does.
Right. So he just leaves her there and takes off, and then she's essentially part of the Halo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then she's
but she doesn't. She doesn't influence anything outside of that room that I'm aware of. So it's not a case of her running around Halo in control of the ring or anything like that. So you don't really hear from her until you return to the control room.
Yeah, it's just, I think the control room is literally just a terminal that controls the Halo control. But as we learn, she can't do anything with the Halo.
Yeah.
She just has access to the wealth of knowledge stored on Halo.
Right. Yeah, which is still, a big deal.
A really big deal. For humanity at this point in time, it is a huge deal.
Should we do Terminal? I don't know. Anything else? I think we covered pretty much everything. It's a huge mission. There's a lot of stuff in it. It's fun just to replay, to David's point.
It's a really good all-around mission. Mm-hmm. I think we've been talking about this between Silent Cartographer and this mission. Mm-hmm. Like, if you could only play 2 missions of this game, those 2 missions will probably give you exactly what you need.
Yep, that'll give you the full Halo experience playing these 2 missions. All right, let's do Terminal, and then we'll do some. We posted in Facebook, and I think, did we get any Twitter responses too?
Yes, we did.
Awesome.
So we got some stuff to go through.
All right, let's do Terminal.
Okay, so we left off Guilty Spark. He was kind of considering what his role in the galaxy is. None of the other monitors were contacting him, and then a ship crash lands. So Guilty Spark he doesn't know that the galaxy's been reseeded at this point. He has no access to anything outside the Halo. It's just he's not supposed to do that. So when the ship lands, he can't go up to the ship and start talking to people. He has to wait for, someone to emerge and maybe look around or something like that. But no one emerges from this ship. He sees that the ship is on fire. It's critically failing. There's oxygen seeping out of the ship, so it's the same kind of stuff that's on Halo, so it should be breathable, but he's very worried about, why hasn't anyone exited the ship? It's obviously, on fire. It's not good. So no one ends up exiting the ship, and he eventually builds like a tomb around it, but this is when he really starts to think, all of my directives say to just stay here and do nothing, but there's a whole galaxy out there. I don't know if anything I've done up to this point has really helped the galaxy. I don't know if it's actually been reseeded. I can't tell anyone to come to Halo or talk to them because of my protocols. And this is when he starts thinking about, well, do the protocols really matter anymore now that it's this far out? This is hundreds of thousands of years after the Halo's been fired. So he's just this is his slow downfall into not accepting, what he was supposed to do.
Yeah,
I think it's also a case of Forerunners AI aren't built to last forever either. They very slowly go rampant. So you see that in terms of a lack of a better word for them to call them rampancy, but you see the monitors like this, and I think he is a unique monitor in many ways. And
Yes,
I'm
he
sure
is
that
very unique.
thousands, hundreds and thousands of years of experiments and just pure loneliness is going to warp your perception, I think.
And we see this in a lot of other Forerunner AIs in the extended universe and the books and stuff, of these AIs being left for so long and not knowing what to do with themselves and eventually becoming rampant, forming their own ideas of what the Forerunners wanted them to do at this point. Because up to this point, they have no directives.
Mm-hmm.
Their directive was to be a custodian to the Halo and then nothing else. So at this point, they just have no direction. They don't know that humans are really supposed to take up the mantle. They don't know, any of the other races. They don't even know if the galaxy has living creatures on it.
Well, Guilty Spark recognized humanity as the Reclaimers, so some of them
He
out
did.
there are aware of this. I imagine maybe the other monitors are the same. Maybe I think probably the Forerunners compartmentalized a lot of their information. So when they were aware that the flood could in fact corrupt AI, I'm sure that they spread that information out. So you probably get AIs in certain locations not knowing that. And we see other, like you said, other constructs that aren't like monitors but are in charge of other installations not really realizing certain things. Or just not treating humanity as you would expect, like the Reclaimers.
Yeah.
I got confused on this one because it's like the 5th mission in, and then he just found the ship, and so these kind of little cutscene terminal things are kind of compressed. Actually, I think.
Oh, I don't think they're in real time.
No.
I don't think this. When you read this monitor, it's happening now. He probably found that ship whenever.
Years and years and years ago, thousands.
Wait, was that so? That ship isn't the Pillar of Autumn. That's a different ship.
No, that's not.
Okay.
That's a completely different ship.
Yeah.
It's some kind of weird alien. I don't think we even really know what that ship was, do we?
I can't remember.
Yeah, there might be a record in Halopedia somewhere, but yeah, okay, double confusion there for me, because it would have made sense to me, because he the first terminal is about him seeing the Pillar of Autumn, right? Enter to the orbit, I guess, or come nearby the Halo, and then it takes a while. Then he finally finds the ship, but that's not. Yeah, they're not necessarily real time from what you're experiencing in the game.
Yeah, this is kind of just. So apparently the ship landed 60,000 years after the firing of the Halo. It had a distress signal, but it looks like we don't know what life forms were on this ship. It was just some kind of strange alien ship. And at 6,000 years, so 60,000 years after the firing of Halo, or roughly around 40,000 BCE. So this is way before humanity had the capabilities of making ships like this. Mm-hmm. So we have no idea what being landed on this.
Interesting.
If it maybe was like an old Forerunner ship or something like that just happened to land there. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's something that Bungie and now 343 does a lot, is they kind of leave a hanging thread on a story, and maybe they'll pick it up somewhere else. But yeah, they haven't done that yet. TBD. Nice. Anything else on the terminal?
Nope, that's about it.
Cool. Let's do some social medias. We asked about the tank, because it's my favorite, and I read the question, so I wanted to get people's thoughts on the tank. What did Facebook have to say?
Facebook said, Ian Francis, best thing about the tank is blowing stuff up. Worst thing, turning around. Mm-hmm. And this is a sentiment by most people. So Jesse White is the same. Controls are garbage. Tim says getting 4 rocket launcher Marines on the treads. I don't know how you can do that.
How do you do that? I tried to give a rocket launcher to someone. It didn't work.
Yeah, you can't swap weapons in this, but in other missions, in other games, you can. So maybe he's referring in general. Worst, getting 4 rocket launcher Marines on the treads. So he's pretty funny. Corey Strider, the machine gun is awful, very true, but the damage of that cannon when you land the shot is very satisfying, very true. Jet Hicks, tanks beats ghosts, tanks beats hunters, blows up phantom, tanks beat everything.
Yeah, it does.
From Halo 3.
3, yeah.
3. And James M. Scott says, taking the bridge and blowing up any inhuman son of a bitch dumb enough to get between us and that prophet of regret. So he's also referring to Halo 2.
Different game, right?
Lots of tank
Delta
quotes.
Halo. But yeah, lots of tank quotes. But essentially, that everyone loves the tank. It controls like shit, but everyone loves it.
It does control like shit.
Yeah, it's just so nice to have the trump card, I guess, right? Because you're obviously you're handling the aliens along the way, but they put up a fight, whereas the tank, just
Bitch,
just
I'm a
pulls it
tank.
off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Feels
it's
so
pretty
good.
solid.
Every game feels so good getting in the tank.
I also like the name of the tank corresponds to its kind of profile. That like you can see its kind of scorpion-like tail in terms of like how it's designed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty cool, and it has 4 like individual treads that are kind of separate, so it can kind of like move like an all-terrain kind of vehicle, like 4 treads independently. I always thought that was really kind of cool, really well designed tank. And calling it a scorpion tank, it makes perfect sense.
If you hadn't noticed,
the design
yet,
and the shape.
all the UNSC vehicles are named after animals.
Yeah,
Yay.
which is kind of
cool.
silly, but kind of fun at the same time.
And then all the Covenant ones are kind of like, what would you call them? They kind of have the
Spectre.
same theme, right? Yeah, Spectre and Phantom.
More alien
and Ghost.
things, Wraith.
Right.
Actually,
More
funnily enough, they're not called after things, but a lot of them are
Paranormal.
designed after animals. So, like, seraphs and stuff like that, I think they said are, like, Sangheili world, kind of like underwater creatures and stuff like that. A lot of their, like, big cruisers and stuff like that have similar shapes and profiles of, like, real creatures on these aliens' home planets and stuff. which I
Well,
think is cool.
cruisers like the Truth and Reconciliation are always described as a whale or shark-like ship.
Mm-hmm.
That's from human perspective, but I think there's
Yeah.
actual creatures that they're designed after, or even just get the general profile shape, so I think that's kind of cool.
How about Twitter? What Twitter have to say?
Okay, so @BadAtHalo says the worst thing about it is the firing cannon. It's extremely difficult, especially at longer ranges. That is true. 343i Community Forum says tank beats everything.
Yeah.
This is a true fact. This is the best part of piling. The true fact is the best part of piloting that is the rolling death machine. Just getting down there, rolling around. So, La Fleche, I hope that's right, 31 says that spamming that unlimited never overheating chain gun while sending the massive explosions every one of those times the ticker lets you fire. Best thing about the tank. D-Town Ninja says, in CE it was so fast. I love the feeling. It's something I miss from the current Scorpions.
It was fast?
It's faster than the current Scorpion. Do you remember the
yeah,
Halo
way
2
faster.
Scorpion? The Halo 2 Scorpion's like, alright, I'm gonna get there in 5 minutes, guys. Just give me a
They
second.
greatly slowed down the tank and took the turret away from you and made it a second person.
And then finally, Lore Tarkom says, definitely shooting Banshees out of the sky. The worst is the inaccurate main gun in Halo CE. Drives me nuts at long range.
Yeah. Sounds
So
about right.
all good things, but could use some improvement.
It is fun to
This
see.
2001 game isn't perfect.
Well, it's fun to see all of the vehicles change or, I guess, evolve a little bit from game to game. It's interesting to see. So yeah, by the time we get to Halo 5, it'll be kind of cool to be able to kind of compare how it feels in comparison. So yeah, all right, let's get out of here. That's it. That's a long mission.
This is
one
a
of the
long
best
one, yeah.
missions from Halo. So it's all downhill from here, guys. Sorry about that.
It kind of is actually. Like this is when the missions start getting way more stressful, and I'm like,
Well, in
oh
this
god,
game
do
in
I really
particular.
have to play this mission, guys?
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that next week. So
Ooh, we have a
that'll-
lot to talk about next week.
It'll be interesting. It'll be good. That'll do it for our debriefing of Assault on the Control Room from Halo Combat Evolved. On the next episode, we'll be covering 343 Guilty Spark, who is this little floating eye. that
No,
we've been
he's my
meeting from
favorite.
terminals.
Shut up,
It'll
David.
be good. I'm on Team Guilty Spark too. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's
Especially,
go.
how could you not like Guilty Spark after reading the Forerunner trilogy, David?
I want
What's
to
wrong
say
with you?
that's the only reason why I'll entertain Guilty Spark conversations.
And also how his story is continuing.
Uh-oh.
Dun dun dun.
All right, send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com. Drop us a tweet at podcastevolved. That will do it. Until next time, evolved.
Evolved.